Somebody just uploaded Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us onto Drake's official YouTube channel. The same YouTube channel with 33 million subscribers. The same channel Drake's entire label ecosystem revolves around. The same channel that in any sane version of the music industry would be considered one of the most fortified digital properties on the entire internet. And I need you to understand something before we go one more sentence into this video, because everybody covering this story has already gotten the frame wrong. This was not a hack. Let me say that again so the people in the back can hear it. This was not a hack. Nobody sat in a dark room cracking Drake's password. Nobody phished Kendrick Lamar's manager. Nobody ran a zero-day exploit against Frank Ocean's team. What actually happened is 100 times more disturbing than the hack story every blog on the timeline ran with in the first 48 hours. And by the time you finish this video, you are going to understand that the entire narrative you have been fed about this situation was engineered to protect the exact people who are responsible for it. I have been sitting with this story for the last 36 hours, cross-referencing distributor documents, reading the Reddit forensic threads, watching the TikTok lives the trolls themselves ran while they were doing it. And I am telling you right now, when we get to the distributor breakdown around the halfway mark of this video, and I promise you we are getting there, you are going to see why the framing of this as a hack is the single biggest media grift of the year in hip-hop. Because the story is not about broken security. The story is about security that was never actually built in the first place. And the people who benefit from you believing it was a hack are the same people who left the door wide open on purpose. This is bigger than Drake. This is bigger than Kendrick Lamar. This is bigger than Family Matters showing up on Kendrick Lamar's page and Not Like Us showing up on Drake's page like matching assassination weapons pinned to the wrong doors. This is about the fact that the entire verification layer protecting the multi-billion-dollar streaming economy has been running on nothing but vibes and a handshake, and everybody at the top of the industry has known about it for years. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, and subscribe. Let's get into it. Let me set the table for you, because a lot of people jumping into this conversation are missing the full backstory, and without the backstory, the story does not make sense. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are not just two rappers with a beef. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are, at this exact moment in 2026, the two most valuable individual music brands on the planet. Drake's YouTube channel alone generates streams that translate to millions of dollars in ad revenue every single quarter. Kendrick Lamar's post-GNX run has turned his channel into a documented industry case study. Super Bowl halftime performance, the Grand National Tour with SZA, the Not Like Us cultural saturation moment that redefined how a diss track can function inside the mainstream. These are not casual internet properties. These are digital fortresses that print money for Universal Music Group, for Interscope, for Aftermath, for OVO, for every partner sitting at the table with them. And the songs that got uploaded were not random. On Drake's channel, somebody planted Not Like Us, the exact song Drake himself sued Universal Music Group over, the song he described in court filings as career-altering, financially catastrophic, spiritually damaging. On Kendrick Lamar's channel, somebody planted Family Matters, the Drake diss track built specifically to end Kendrick Lamar's public life, the record with the ugliest personal claims one rapper has made about another in this era. Two artists, two channels, each artist's assassination weapon plastered onto the other artist's storefront at the same time. That is not vandalism. That is choreography. Somebody with a working understanding of the entire beef timeline sat down and asked what the most psychologically devastating combination of uploads could possibly be, and then they executed it. And it did not stop with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Frank Ocean's page got hit with two fake singles that his most obsessive fans immediately clocked as manipulated. Playboi Carti's page got turned into a personal promotional pipeline where the trolls uploaded songs by themselves and their friends, using Carti's brand equity as free advertising for their Discord funnel.
Kanye West's page reportedly got dragged in. So did others. This was not a targeted attack on Drake. This was not a targeted attack on Kendrick Lamar. This was a demonstration. Somebody was showing off. And the question you have to sit with is, showing off to who? Because whoever they were demonstrating this to already knew it worked. And that is the tension that drives the rest of this video. Because the person or people behind this exploit are not the real story. The real story is who allowed the exploit to exist in the first place and why they still haven't fixed it. Now let me walk you through the surface evidence, because this is where the timeline started to unravel in real time, and you need to see the visible layer before we get anywhere near the systemic layer. Piece of evidence number 1, the Drake channel upload of Not Like Us. Screenshots from the first hours after the upload show the video sitting on Drake's channel, described in the panel as a fresh release, complete with a Discord invite tucked into the description. Fans who caught it early were losing their minds in the replies. Blogs like Hot New Hip Hop and Complex ran the screenshot within hours. And here's the part everybody skipped. The video was not removed instantly. It sat there for hours on the official channel of one of the biggest artists on Earth. Nobody at Drake's team, nobody at OVO, nobody at Universal caught it fast enough to prevent the screenshot from becoming the story of the weekend. That is piece of evidence number 1, and it already tells you everything about the response infrastructure protecting these artists. There is no infrastructure. Piece of evidence number 2, the Kendrick Lamar channel uploads. The first upload was an older SoundCloud-era cut called The Prayer that only deep Kendrick Lamar fans immediately recognized, uploaded with a modified profile signature and a Discord funnel embedded in the metadata. Hours later, Family Matters landed on the same channel, same pattern, same Discord link, same profile inconsistencies that tipped off the forensic-minded fans on Reddit before any official statement from Kendrick Lamar's camp. Piece of evidence number 3, the Frank Ocean situation, which is arguably the most disturbing of them all, because Frank Ocean's fan base is famously obsessive about authenticity. The Reddit thread on r/Frank Ocean caught it within minutes, with users pointing out that the 2 so-called new singles were structured in ways Frank Ocean's official releases never are, uploaded through channels his verified team does not use, and timed in a way that no legitimate rollout has ever looked like. And piece of evidence number 4, the Playboy Cardi pipeline. This one is different. Whoever moved on Cardi's channel was not doing a one-time upload. They were treating Cardi's channel like a distribution service for their own catalog and their friends' catalog. Songs by unknown accounts appeared under the Playboy Cardi profile, using his subscriber base as free advertising for their Discord funnel. Kanye West's page reportedly got dragged in. So did others. This was not a targeted attack on Drake. This was not a targeted attack on Kendrick Lamar. This was a demonstration. Somebody was showing off. And the question you have to sit with is, showing off to who? Because whoever they were demonstrating this to already knew it worked. And that is the tension that drives the rest of this video. Because the person or people behind this exploit are not the real story. The real story is who allowed the exploit to exist in the first place and why they still haven't fixed it. Now let me walk you through the surface evidence, because this is where the timeline started to unravel in real time, and you need to see the visible layer before we get anywhere near the systemic layer. Piece of evidence number 1, the Drake channel upload of Not Like Us. Screenshots from the first hours after the upload show the video sitting on Drake's channel, described in the panel as a fresh release, complete with a Discord invite tucked into the description. Fans who caught it early were losing their minds in the replies. Blogs like Hot New Hip Hop and Complex ran the screenshot within hours. And here's the part everybody skipped. The video was not removed instantly. It sat there for hours on the official channel of one of the biggest artists on Earth. Nobody at Drake's team, nobody at OVO, nobody at Universal caught it fast enough to prevent the screenshot from becoming the story of the weekend. That is piece of evidence number 1, and it already tells you everything about the response infrastructure protecting these artists. There is no infrastructure. Piece of evidence number 2, the Kendrick Lamar channel uploads. The first upload was an older SoundCloud-era cut called The Prayer that only deep Kendrick Lamar fans immediately recognized, uploaded with a modified profile signature and a Discord funnel embedded in the metadata. Hours later, Family Matters landed on the same channel, same pattern, same Discord link, same profile inconsistencies that tipped off the forensic-minded fans on Reddit before any official statement from Kendrick Lamar's camp. Piece of evidence number 3, the Frank Ocean situation, which is arguably the most disturbing of them all, because Frank Ocean's fan base is famously obsessive about authenticity. The Reddit thread on r/Frank Ocean caught it within minutes, with users pointing out that the 2 so-called new singles were structured in ways Frank Ocean's official releases never are, uploaded through channels his verified team does not use, and timed in a way that no legitimate rollout has ever looked like. And piece of evidence number 4, the Playboy Cardi pipeline. This one is different. Whoever moved on Cardi's channel was not doing a one-time upload. They were treating Cardi's channel like a distribution service for their own catalog and their friends' catalog. Songs by unknown accounts appeared under the Playboy Cardi profile, using his subscriber base as a free traffic funnel. Now, take those 4 pieces of evidence and lay them next to each other. What do they have in common? They are all on official artist channels. They all bypassed whatever protection those channels supposedly had. They all included Discord links. They all sat live for hours, and they all happened at the same time. That is not the fingerprint of a single hacker. That is the fingerprint of an exploit that anybody with the right access point could run at any moment, and multiple people ran it simultaneously because the door was open. That is the visible layer. That is what everybody saw, and what everybody saw was already enough to indict the entire security posture of the streaming industry. But we have not even gotten to the real evidence yet. And oh, do I have more for you. Because if you thought the surface layer was bad, wait until you see who was reacting to this behind the scenes. Wait until you see which insiders were quietly texting each other while the uploads were still live. Wait until you see the pattern of who spoke out and who suspiciously stayed silent. The Drake stans are really not going to like this next section, because we are about to talk about the exact moment somebody very close to the Drake camp accidentally confirmed what actually happened, and it is not what Drake's PR team has been feeding the timeline for the last 2 days. Stick with me here, because this is where the story stops being about music and starts being about the machinery that decides what music you are allowed to see. Cultural evidence, Layer 2. Piece of cultural evidence number 1. The response from other artists in real time. Independent artists across the platform, the ones who actually use these distributor pipelines every single day, started posting within hours of the uploads going live. Producers on X were pointing out that anybody with a distributor account can upload to virtually any artist channel if the distributor does not verify. Small batch rappers were showing receipts of times their own music had accidentally landed on the wrong artist page because of exactly this loophole. The industry's working-class musicians all knew. They all knew. This was not a secret to the people who use these tools every day. It was only a secret to the fans and to the mainstream press. Cultural evidence number 2. The silence from the majors. Universal Music Group did not issue a statement in the first 24 hours. Interscope did not issue a statement. Aftermath did not issue a statement. OVO did not issue a statement. Republic did not issue a statement. The labels who own the masters and the publishing rights to every song that got weaponized on these channels, the labels who theoretically lose money every time their artists' identities get compromised, did not say a word. Ask yourself why. Because they know the exploit exists. They have known for years, and any statement they make on the record puts them on the hook for having ignored it. Cultural evidence number 3. The Discord funnel confessions. The trolls themselves on their own private Discord servers that got screenshotted and leaked to Reddit were openly bragging about running the play. They were talking about the distributor loophole by name. They were sharing tutorials on how to do it. They were listing which artist channels were still vulnerable. They were treating it like a game. This was not sophisticated cybercrime. This was teenagers with a distributor account and a lot of free time. And cultural evidence number 4. This is the one that broke the whole thing open. A random TikTok user, whose name I will not put on blast because they have gotten enough attention already, went live and demonstrated the exploit in real time. They uploaded a track to a lower-profile artist channel using nothing but an off-step-style distributor account. No verification, no identity check, no signature match, no email confirmation from the artist's team, nothing. And it went through, live, on stream, in front of everybody watching. That is when the Reddit forensic community connected the dots and the hack narrative collapsed. Now, I want to be surgical about something here. Some of you are going to say the TikTok Live could have been staged, that the artist account they demonstrated on could have been theirs, that there is no ironclad proof the same pipeline was used for the Drake and Kendrick Lamar uploads. And you are right that we do not have a chain of custody document. We do not have a courtroom quality evidence file. What we have is a pattern that matches too cleanly across too many artists at too coordinated a moment for it to be coincidence. And we have an entire community of working musicians who recognize the pattern instantly because they live inside these pipelines every day. Take that for what it is worth, but do not let anyone tell you the pattern is not there. The pattern is loud. The pattern is documented. The pattern is confirmed by the exact people the industry pretends do not exist. The independent artists who have been screaming about distributor verification failures for years, while the majors ignored them. And now, the gear shift, because we are about to leave the cultural layer entirely and get into the actual architecture of what happened. And this is where the story becomes something none of the mainstream blogs are willing to touch. Because here is what nobody is telling you, and I've been sitting with this for 36 hours trying to figure out how to say it without sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but there is no other way to say it. The streaming industry did not accidentally leave this door open. The streaming industry chose to leave this door open because the door being open is more profitable than the door being closed. Let me walk you through the 3 interlocking layers of why. Layer 1 of the systemic breakdown, the volume economics. Third-party distributors like Offstep, DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, and dozens of smaller operations are the plumbing that connects independent artists to the streaming platforms. Their entire business model is optimized for one variable. How many tracks can we push through the pipe per hour? That's the number that determines their revenue. That's the number that determines their competitive positioning. That's the number that determines whether they get acquired by a major or bought out by private equity. Verification at scale is the enemy of volume. Every additional verification step is a friction point that drives artists to a competitor with less friction. So the distributors have quietly, systematically, over the last decade, competed with each other to remove verification steps, not add them, remove them. That is not a bug. That is
the market operating exactly the way the market was designed to operate. And YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, Deezer, every single major platform accepted the trade-off. They accepted the trade-off because more distributor volume means more content, means more listener retention, means more ad revenue. Everybody in the ecosystem is compensated for volume. Nobody in the ecosystem is compensated for verification. So verification does not get built. That is layer 1. Now, layer 2 of the systemic breakdown, the deniability structure. Notice how the story is being framed as a hack. Notice how every mainstream blog picked up the hack framing within hours. Notice how nobody at any of the major labels has publicly named a distributor, publicly identified an accountability chain, publicly demanded a specific fix. The hack framing benefits everybody in the industry.
because hack implies an outside attacker acting maliciously against a properly secured system. Hack absolves the platforms. Hack absolves the distributors. Hack absolves the labels. Hack absolves the streaming economy. If the real story got out that this was not a hack, but an intentional design decision to prioritize volume over verification, every artist on the platform would have grounds for a lawsuit. Every publisher would demand contract renegotiation. Every insurance company underwriting the industry would raise premiums. Every regulator would open an inquiry. Hack is the softest possible framing that keeps every entity in the ecosystem financially protected. And that is why every entity in the ecosystem is happily letting the hack framing run in the press without correction. Now, layer 3 of the systemic breakdown, and this is the one that should terrify you: the AI training pipeline. Right now, in this exact moment, the songs that got uploaded to Drake's channel, to Kendrick Lamar's channel, to Frank Ocean's channel, to Playboi Carti's channel are being scraped by AI training data centers. Every song sitting on an official artist channel is treated as authentic reference data by the AI models learning to imitate that artist's voice. So when a troll uploads a fake or manipulated song to Drake's official channel and it sits live for 6 hours before removal, another AI system somewhere else is quietly ingesting that fake song as if it were canonical Drake material. The model sharpens. The imitation gets better. The next generation of fake Drake becomes indistinguishable from real Drake. And once that contamination enters the training data, there is no undo button. Machine learning ingestion is a one-way process. Once a fake has been used to train a model, the fake is permanently baked into every future output of that model. Which means the distributor loophole is not just a temporary embarrassment for the artists. It is a permanent contamination event for the entire AI music economy. And the people building those AI models are aware of it, and they are letting it happen, because contaminated data is still data, and data is what their valuations are built on. That is the 3-layer systemic breakdown. Volume economics on layer 1, deniability structure on layer 2, AI training contamination on layer 3. All 3 layers reinforce each other. All 3 layers benefit the industry. All 3 layers make the exploit permanent. And now for the truth bomb, because you have earned it by making it this far. And this is the part where I stop being careful and start being direct. The reason this exploit exists is not that the industry has not figured out how to fix it. The industry has known how to fix it for years. Cryptographic verification, hardware token signing, biometric confirmation, artist-side key management, multi-factor upload approval. All of these solutions exist. All of them are cheap. All of them are proven. None of them have been implemented at scale for one reason and one reason only. The industry does not want them implemented. Because here is what the industry knows and what the fans do not. A fully verified upload pipeline would collapse a huge portion of the current streaming economy. Do you know how much of the music on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube Music, on Tidal is uploaded through distributor accounts that would not survive a real verification check? Do you know how many of the artists appearing on major playlists are actually algorithmic content farms, ghost producers hiding behind fake identities, label-owned pseudonyms designed to game the recommendation system, and AI-generated pseudo-artists whose entire catalog is synthetic? A functioning verification layer would expose all of it, and the majors who profit from this shadow catalog just as much as the independents do have no financial incentive to expose it. That is the truth bomb. This exploit was not a mistake. This exploit is the operating system. The industry designed its infrastructure to be exploitable, because an exploitable infrastructure is a more profitable infrastructure. And the hack of Drake and Kendrick Lamar's channels was not a breach of the system. It was the system working exactly as it was designed to work, just for once being pointed at a target big enough to make the front page. Every day of every week of every month for the last decade, this exploit has been running quietly at smaller scales, and nobody has cared, because nobody at the top of the industry loses money when a small artist's channel gets used as a promotional pipeline. It only became a story when the target was Drake. It only became a hack when the mainstream press had to protect the framing that keeps the majors immune from liability. And here is the part that hurts. The artists themselves are the last line of defense because nobody else in the system has any incentive to protect them. Drake cannot trust his own label to fix this. Kendrick Lamar cannot trust his own distributor to fix this. Frank Ocean cannot trust his own platform to fix this. Playboi Carti cannot trust his own team to fix this. Because every entity that theoretically works for them is compensated by a system that profits from the exact vulnerability that just weaponized their identities. That is the truth of the modern music industry in 2026. The artists are alone. The infrastructure protecting them is a fiction. And the only reason we're having this conversation right now is that a random person on Reddit did the forensic work that a $200 billion industry refused to fund.
And this is where the story lands, because you need to walk away from this video with a clear read on who is actually still standing in this situation. Kendrick Lamar is still winning. Let me explain why. Kendrick Lamar is winning not because his channel was uploaded to. His channel got hit like everybody else's. Kendrick Lamar is winning because the response to this situation revealed the difference between an artist who operates with discipline and an artist who operates by reaction. When Family Matters landed on Kendrick Lamar's official page, Kendrick Lamar did not tweet, he did not post, he did not go on Instagram Live and rant. He did nothing publicly for the entire 72-hour window. He let his team quietly work the back channels, he let the removal happen, and he let the story develop without adding fuel to it. Meanwhile, on the other side, the artist who has already sued Universal Music Group over a diss track sitting on his enemy's channel now has that same diss track sitting on his own channel, and every move that Kant makes from this point forward is a move that only makes the story bigger. That is the difference between a hero and a villain in this narrative. The hero absorbs the attack and lets the attack age poorly on its own. The villain amplifies the attack by responding to it, and every response digs the hole deeper. That is the discipline gap. Kendrick Lamar built his career on releasing music on his own schedule, protecting his brand through silence and letting his catalog do the talking. That approach, the one that seemed old-fashioned when he did GNX with almost no rollout, is now the only approach that survives an era where your official channel can be weaponized against you at any moment. Kendrick Lamar accidentally future-proofed himself, not because he saw this coming, but because his temperament was already aligned with the reality that was coming. The guy who does every job to 100%, who does not need to be outside to be winning, who releases when he releases and disappears when he disappears, is the guy whose identity cannot be manipulated even when his platform is compromised. Because when the platform is not the message and the artist is the message, no upload to the platform can change what the artist actually is. That is the resolution. That is the emotional landing. One artist makes music that goes to court. The other makes music that goes to the Super Bowl. One artist responds to every provocation. The other absorbs every provocation and keeps building. And when the entire streaming infrastructure is revealed to be a fiction, the artist who never depended on the infrastructure in the first place is the artist who walks out of this era with his brand intact. This is not a prediction. This is arithmetic. Look at where each artist stood a year ago, look at where each artist stands today, and draw the line forward. The line does not lie. The artist with the discipline wins. The artist with the reactivity loses. And the culture, slowly, painfully, is course-correcting toward the artist it can actually trust. Now, this is only the start, and I need you to hear me when I say that, because there are two specific things I am tracking right now that are going to break in the next 30 days, and I want you subscribed so you do not miss either one.
The first thing, the identity of the distributor at the center of this is going to get formally reported. Reddit forensics have already narrowed it down. Independent journalists have already started reaching out for comment. Somebody inside one of these distributor companies is going to leak, and when that leak drops, the entire industry is going to have to respond on the record. That is the first shoe. The second thing, one of the affected artists is going to lawyer up. I'm not going to speculate on which one, but the legal groundwork for a lawsuit against a distributor with negligent verification practices is already being drafted somewhere, and once that filing becomes public, the deniability structure the industry has been operating under for a decade collapses in real time. That is the second shoe. Both shoes drop within 30 days. Watch me on this. Book it. And when both of those things happen, I am going to be right back here breaking it down for you the same way I did tonight. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let the algorithm know you want to see the follow-up when it lands, because this story is not close to over. It is barely started, and the next chapter is where the accountability finally starts to arrive. And if you want to see what happens next in this exact universe, click the video right there, because I just broke down the real reason Kendrick Lamar's next album rollout is going to look nothing like anything the industry has ever seen. The physical media strategy that is quietly being built inside his camp, the direct-to-fan pipeline that is being tested in the shadows, and the exact move Kendrick Lamar is preparing that is going to make him the first major artist to release a project the streaming platforms literally cannot compromise. That video connects directly to what we talked about tonight, and if you understood this one, that one is going to blow your mind. See you in the next one.